Texans fans, on this day, October 5th, 2020, after an 0-4 start, the Houston Texans made a decision to part ways with then head coach and GM Bill the Chin O'Brien. That marked a pivotal day in Texas history, and that allowed us to get to where we're at today. What's going on, fans? What's going on, family? What's going on, true Texans? We are Texans, and this is the home of Texans content, and we like to do it with a little bit of our own flair. The Texans are taking on the 3-1 Buffalo Bills this week in the home of the H. The field's painted with the new colors. We have the logos everywhere. And Texans fans, we are lit. Because I'm lit for this game. This will be one to see where our team is. We're measuring up against one of the top 10 teams in the NFL, probably top 5 against the Buffalo Bills. And we're sitting around, I would say, realistically 7 or 8. But the Buffalo Bills, they're banged up. The Houston Texans, we're banged up. So how do we stack up against a team like this? Today, we're going to discuss a little bit about some former Bills players. Everybody talks about Stephon Diggs, but let's talk about Tim Settle. We'll talk some more about Tank Dell. We'll talk about the betting odds. We'll also talk about safety talk. How do we stay out of these explosive plays? Sports Social Live TV on Twitter and Instagram. So let's get into it. Tim Settle Jr. Everybody talks about Diggs, but Tim Settle also was a Buffalo Bill. He's ready for this game. That adds another layer of emotion for Tim Settle. He played for the Bills he played for the Bills alongside Stephon Diggs. They were able to go ball out. They know what it is to play high-level football. I think the Bills organization is one of the toughest and most gritty organizations. You don't see them faltering as much as the bottom tier teams when they have their backups in. So Tim Settle Jr. going back and playing that former team with Stephon Diggs, the emotions for those players will be something to watch. I am especially excited to see how Settle settles in on this defense, how he's able to get off the ball. We have Will Anderson Jr. and Hunter. They're setting those edges. They're getting the pressure, but a lot of sacks do come from that internal pocket being collapsed by the defensive tackles. And I want to see what Tim Settle Jr. is able to do going into the game. Is he going to be able to handle his emotions? Is he going to be able to kind of just play up to par? Tim Settle Jr., Stephon Diggs. I know they're going to be gunning for Stephon Diggs. They're going to try to get him emotional. This is what you do with all players, like a gamer like Stephon Diggs. You want to get him to make the 15-yard penalty and get a flag, have the undisciplined plays. Same thing for Settle. Hey, that bottom of the pile is going to be kind of gritty. How will he be able to handle a solid offensive line from the Buffalo Bills? I believe a lot of people don't speak enough about the offensive line from the Buffalo Bills, and they are solid. They're put together well. McDermott has them hitting on all cylinders. So our defensive line is going to have a hard time. They know how to slide their pass blocking. They know how to do well with rotating their offensive linemen. They have one of the best centers in the league, good guards. It's going to be a hard time, for Tim Settle Jr. to be able to go out and actually ball out. This is where you need somebody like Autry in the middle, to be quite honest with you. But Settle has been doing good for our team. I mean, he's had some big games previously before. So I see him being able to support the run defense and make some plays in the pass defense. Hopefully we can stop Josh Allen from extending the plays. And it starts with Settle. And I think it'll be good. He also takes a lot of pressure off of our linebacking core, who plays majority of the game. And think about it, they're running sideline to sideline, getting back in underneath coverage, especially in our soft zone. So Tim Settle is actually a pivotal piece, and this will be an emotional game for Tim Settle. So I'm excited to see where he goes and how they play. I'm also excited to see how that front seven impacts the safeties. They have to ball out. they're gonna get picked on. I mean, Petrie's going to get picked on this game. The Buffalo Bills will run some people in a slot to see if Petrie's able to cover them. He hasn't done bad. He hasn't done bad, but I actually don't mind how he plays. But I have to see more from Petrie. I know the pressure's gonna be on him to make these pivotal on an island coverages. Will he be able to do it? Will he be able to do that on the backside as well? Will our cornerbacks who play the whole game? Nobody talks about this either. Cornerbacks who play the whole game. How will they communicate with the safeties? How will they be able to say to just call out? Hey, it's you. You're on the island. Our safeties have to ball out. I know Jimmy Ward's banged up, but I don't even think he should rush himself back with the injuries that he's had. This is a lingering injury. He's had this pretty much every year. He's had the growing injury. So our safeties will be a key point in the game. If you don't have the safeties as a concern, you're not really a Texans fan, and I don't see any other way to call it. I don't see Jimmy Ward really having 100% step, and he needs it because he's not the fastest, right? He can come downhill, but getting back in coverage, you see him getting a beat. That Colts game showed you that he can get beat. So I'm interested to see how the safeties play this game. Will we play a little bit more aggressive? Will Nico kind of stay away from that soft zone? I want to see it, and I don't know. I like the Nico's defense, but I want to see it go to the next level, and it might just be waiting until we have all the pieces back with Autry. That might be what he's trying to do. Just, hey, I just need to buy some time. But as you've seen Bobby Slowick say, time's running out. They have to put it together. We're going into week 5. We're about to go into week 6, playing the Patriots. Then we have a tough backstretch of football. They have to start clicking. The philosophies have to start melding together. And they have to play with a little bit more grit regardless. I think the defensive side has that grit. It's easy for the defense to have the grit because, I mean, you're playing defense, they can meld faster. But that offense takes some time to get together and play. So I'm excited to see what the safeties do for this upcoming game. Rolling on to safety talk, we got to switch to the other side of the ball, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, they're going to have a hard time against our three-headed monster, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, but specifically Tank Dell. Tank Dell shredding up the seam, getting some slot play along with Stephon Diggs. Will be interesting to see how those Buffalo safeties match up with them. I want to see what Hamlin does, the DBs period. I want to see what Hamlin does against that three-headed monster. Good for them. They have a couple of people back in the game, in the field of play. They do have the linebacker Dorian Williams. I remember him. He's one of our top tacklers in the league. And they also have Teron Johnson returning for their DB core. So that's cool to see. They have Terrell Bernard also coming back at linebacker. These are top tacklers. They're one of the top tackling defenses, and they have to make a lot of turnovers. Something that is not talked about, the Buffalo Bills also are doing well in this new kick return. They're averaging 36.7 yards a kick return. It's a lot of factors to the game, and the Buffalo Bills know how to impact all three phases of the game. But back to Tank Dell, the speed's been on display. Bobby Slowick is talking about them. I do feel like Tank Dell will be on people's mind the whole game. Like that, those linebackers can't get settled in. They're going to get exposed in those center parts of the field. It's going to be tough for the linebacking core of the Buffalo Bills if Tank Dell is fully healthy. But I think he is. He's not going to come back not healthy. But they're going to put some hands on him too. So will he be able to stay healthy throughout this whole game? More to come with that. But I'm excited to see what's going on. So speaking of health, health is wealth, and the best ability is availability. We have some injuries on our IR this week. Looking at the bottom of the screen, you have some questionable Dameon Pierce, but it looks like he's going to play in this game. I'm happy about that. Will he be the number one running back for the stable? Kurt Hinish is questionable. Looks like he's trending towards being out. Dylan Horton, Robert Woods, looks like he's going to be out there and be able to be a good fourth, fifth receiver. And then you have tackle Titus Howard with a hamstring injury. we might see, and we probably will see Blake Fisher step up and be able to support this offensive line. He kind of got a little bit beat up a little bit when he came in and for Lamory Tonsil last week, but that's just a little rookie haze, and I think he'll settle in just well, especially as the schemes get more and more to his liking, right? So the speed of the game, he's just catching up to it. I think Blake Fisher will be fine. Now, moving on to the people who are out, the big thing that we've been talking about is Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon being out is not good for the Texans. I don't know how any other way to put it. He's a pivotal piece to the team. I've already talked about that, but he's out. So the Texans have to deal with what's coming. Is Pierce going to step up? Cam Akers, British Brooks, Dare. I don't mind seeing Dare out there. We've talked about it before. I want to see what's going to happen. And also our defensive end, Derek Barnett being out is kind of tough to our defensive end depth. So who's going to spill Will Anderson Jr. and Hunter when they do come out on the field? So it's going to be a hard game for the Texans defense. If I'm the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator, I'm going to make them run sideline to sideline often and early. That's what I'll do if I want to win. And that would be one of the keys to victory for the Buffalo Bills, to keep the Texans defense running sideline to sideline. I would do it. I'm going to touch on a little bit, speaking of the sideline to sideline running, the red zone and third down efficiency. We talked about it when Jeremy was on, but I'll talk about it again. The Texans have to kind of lock in here. Improvements needed, and that starts with those guys on the back end, the DBs. They're going to have to play better situational football, remove the soft zones. I'm tired of seeing so many soft zones when they only have 5 yards to go. You're just essentially giving it to them, especially with a receiver like Justin Jefferson. That's crazy. I don't know why they were doing that. But the soft zones, if you're going to play soft zones and just kind of give up that deep and protect the deep ball, we expect to get them to get marched down the field every series. So let's work on improving that third down efficiency. And in the red zone, we have to do better. And that, I believe, starts with that communication at the top level from the safeties. I am excited for this game. If you're watching this, I want to say thank you, because Sports Social Live, we're kind of building our presence across all platforms. On Twitter, we're SportsSocialTV, Instagram, SportsSocialTV. We're on Facebook. You see the shorts, the reels, they're coming out left and right. That's the goal, that we're trying to just keep the content coming and actually just be true Texans fans pushing out sports content. So thank you for supporting us in that regard. Lastly, we're going to talk about the spread. I don't see too much change. I'm still maintaining that I'm going the Texans with the under. I say one more time, Texans under. Methodical football here. They want to take the ball out of Josh Allen's hands and keep it. So Texans going under. And also, we have a hard time scoring. So probably a lot of Kaimi Fairbairn. And then we're going to go with the Bills. The Bills not being able, they're going to have to run and gun a little bit because they're going to be behind. So the Texans under 47.5. I think this is going to be one of the games that they turn their season into what they're supposed to be. I'm excited for this game. Again, Lance Hayes, Sports Social TV, Sports Social Live on YouTube. We're rolling. That was our betting odds. So in this episode of Sports Social Live, I gave you a little history fact. We fired B.O.B. today. The chin, he was gone. We talked about Tim Settle Jr. We talked about Tank Dell. We talked about the safeties needing to do better. Some third down and red zone defensive improvements are needed. And then I closed it out with the betting odds. When I get that betting link, y'all need to smash that betting link. So until then, smash the subscribe button, like, share, comment. I'm Lance Hayes, Sports Social Live. Salute.